Okay, we're back. Yesterday, I played in the Westin Action, named after the Action Hotel, of course, where it was held. And I played 4 games. It was a 30-minute time control, so each player gets 30 minutes, with a delay of 5. So every time you make a move, 5 seconds pass before your time starts to tick down, just in case you're in time trouble with 1 second left, as we'll see later. And this hotel, the tournament was a bit smaller, so obviously, not as nice a hotel, and it's in the basement of the hotel rather than like a big ballroom, but whatever. So I show up and I get registered and everything, and there's probably only about 15 people in my section, which is normal for, like, this tournament is on, like, its 3rd or 4th week, I think, since restarting after COVID and everything. So, 15 people's okay. And I think the strongest player in the section was rated 1260. I'm rated 983 after I won 2 games and lost 3 at the Atlantic Open. And so I am the second to worst player in my section. At least that's where I was seated. So, feeling good. And I get my first pairing, and usually the way that tournament pairings in a Swiss system works is that the worst player gets paired with one of the best the first round, kind of to fulfill the self-fulfilling idea that, the good players are going to make it further. Something like that. And so I think the first game is probably the one where I struggled the most because I am playing one of the strongest players. His name was Alexander Levine, and he was rated 1177. So he's the second best player behind the 1260. And I got black. Why give me black against like a fucking player with 200 more points than me? But anyways, and he plays my favorite opening, d4. And so I used to play, as you've seen before, d5, and I run into a lot of Queen's Gambits. But now I go for knight f6. And, usually I expect to see this move. And instead of bishop f4, this is the London system. And it's funny because right before, there were a lot of little kids here at this tournament. I guess their parents like to enter them, but there were a lot of adults as well. So pretty similar to the ratio of kids to adults as at the Atlantic. Chess is kind of like a young man's sport, or young woman. And they were all joking before like this game started, like, oh yeah, play the London. The London's a solid opening. Oh, play the London, it's great. And then like all the other kids were like, no, yeah, if you like draws. And so it was just absolutely hilarious. So my first game I get a London from like this guy who's like probably in his 50s. He probably was just sitting there seething, these kids making fun of the London system. And so I don't know why I play this, because I don't know any of the theory, but I always play c6 because I want to bring my queen out here and attack this weak pawn. When you bring this bishop out, this bishop defends this pawn. So I want to attack this pawn and take your rook. And obviously if the knight comes here or here, I take your knight, so the knight has to go here, and then, I win a pawn. So I like this move. And then it's not very good because you bring your queen out early, and it's very easy for white to defend. And so white defends. And I just wanted to castle, so I did. And now, when we reach this position, I was already like, yeah, I didn't do so hot, because white has everything that they want. They've got 2 really awesome bishops. This knight's going to develop. They have a space advantage on the queen side. My bishop is the worst bishop ever. I can't even bring my knight to c6. And this bishop, he has these dark square control. And my queen is on b6. So already I was like, this is horrible. But the engine says it's about equal. So I did not feel like it was equal. And so I want to bring my knight to c6, and I want to take back the dark squares. So c5 seemed very natural, and it says c5 is best. So woo. Let's see. He developed his last minor piece. I took in the center. We traded c-pawns. I got my knight out. He castled. And after I played this almost instantly. I don't know why. After I played this, I spent forever looking at bishop take h7, king take. Oh, I'll just show it. And then this check. And then Engine says that you should play here. Because I guess if you take here, he has check. And then if you go back, obviously he wins a piece. Or wins his piece back, and then I guess he won a pawn. And obviously that's very good for white. So I saw that, but the engine says after here, 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 you have here. I don't know if I would have even played this, because that doesn't look very fun to play. King on g6, and white's king looks like that. Ugh! So, he didn't play that. He just moved his knight. And now, my queen's attacked, so I have to move it. And I just, in the London system, where this bishop is outside the dark squares, this dark square bishop is like a very good asset, and so I want to trade this dumb knight. And he comes over here. And I don't think I even saw this move because I control this square. But after I was looking at this bishop take h7 stuff, I didn't want my knight on h5 anymore. It's just stupid. And if he wants to trade dark square bishops, that's fine. And then here, I didn't even look at e4. But e4, I mean, I don't know how he found it. I don't know why he plays e4. Just taking more space in the center, I guess. You want to have pawns on e4 and d4, so why not? And then I found this b5 move that I thought was like incredible. Because if the knight moves, I take your bishop. So he has to trade bishops. And now he brought his knight in. And now this pawn is hanging. This is attacked once, but I don't really care. Obviously, if I take, this knight is attacked and this pawn. So I just defend this. I'm not again, if he keeps like charging in, attacking me, and if he wants to take my pieces, that's fine. I'm just going to keep solving all my problems of my horrible pieces and lack of development. And he's not doing a very good job at like gaining an advantage. So I'm just defending properly. And bishop d7, he brought another attacker in, so I defended it. This move is just improving his rook, I guess. So I improved mine. We traded, and then d5. So obviously takes. As you can see, my bishop's attacked and my queen's attacked. So rook e1 looks pretty good now. So you can't take. So I just move back. Engine prefers bishop a8, but bishop e7 I like because it defends this a pawn. And then we traded some more for no reason. I mean, he just wanted to trade. And then now all of a sudden, for no reason at all, I have a better position. So I had he had this advantage earlier in development because all my pieces were horrible. I've solved all of my bad piece problems. Now he has a weak pawn on e5, and my queen has the dark squares. I have a better pawn structure than him. My bishop's fantastic. I mean, this is great. And so, what I wanted to play here, if he made a random move like h3, was I wanted to take, queen takes, and then bring my rook here, gaining a tempo and controlling the c-file. But yeah, he didn't do that. So now I can't control the c-file, but at least I can line my rook up with his queen. So I can get some business going against this bishop later. If I can play knight here, which is defended by the queen, I'll have two attackers on this bishop, and the bishop is pinned to the queen. So that was my threat, and he addressed the threat. Oh, he didn't address the threat. Oh! Well, obviously, yeah, he's attacking here. So yeah, this is a threat now. And Engine says h6, and I'm super winning. I didn't even look at h6 because I thought, you know, obviously I play h6. He has bishop h7, but that check doesn't do anything. You just go to either square and you're fine. In fact, after h6, here he's just losing a piece because you're attacking two things. So I don't know. h6 is better, but for so long, like the whole game, you've seen me talk about, oh, bishop h7 threat, bishop h7 threat is so good. And so I just really wanted to shut this down. And yeah, it says it's a missed win, but obviously the material's still equal. He brings his knight to the center, and then I come forth with my attack from earlier, and he blocks it up. And then it says that this check is like way better. And I mean, I have to agree, but it's complicated. I take the bishop because bishops are better than knights. And then this, I thought I was winning. So let's pretend that the engine doesn't say that this is just an okay move. I thought I was like super winning here because I'm attacking this rook and I'm threatening checkmate. And I was like, okay, game's over. And I sat there like super smug. And he thought for over 10 minutes in a 30-minute time control. And he found the only move. Any other move loses immediately. I did not see this. And so the fact that I didn't see it, I thought, okay, well, I must still be winning. I must have some trick. And so I played my trick. Bishop takes g2 with the idea of queen takes g2 and I take your rook. And then I'm up a rook for a bishop. And you just have a stupid knight. And I have a rook. And then I didn't see f4. So similar to, I think it was the third or fourth game at the Atlantic, I don't see these f-pawn moves. And yeah, now I'm in a little bit of a pickle. So I have to take, and then he takes my queen, and then I move my bishop here. Engine kind of likes this move as well, but I want my bishop towards the center, controlling as many squares as possible. So I thought this was good. Unfortunately, now my f-pawn's really weak. And so now he has two attackers. I need to defend it with my two defenders. And then, okay, so now here I thought like, oh, he'll play rook a7 on this move. And then I'll play b4 defending my a-pawn. And he saw that I could play b4. And so he played b4. And when he played b4, I was like, why do you play b4? And then I saw that now my a-pawn can never be defended. So I was like, I gotta come up with a new plan. So king here, rook here. And then this is my plan, I was hoping that he was silly enough to take. And he took. And now it's equal. And it doesn't look silly for him to take, but I mean, imagine if he doesn't take. This is what I saw he would do, and then I'm just dead lost. Because, obviously, my king can never become an active piece, and his king can. So, not good. So, yeah, he took this pawn, because obviously now that my king's not defending this f-pawn. So now he's up material. But now it says black's better after this move, which I played. And the idea is, this king, if I could play rook f1 check, the king has one legal move. And so my only plan is I want to take this legal move away. And then he got greedy and took my a-pawn, not seeing that, I mean, he has no defense. So the king has nowhere to go. And this is like my threat. And there's no way to stop the threat. This just, yeah, I mean, I'm still coming for you. And so then he resigned after I played king h3. And he had like 3 or 4 minutes left on his clock, so the fact that he didn't think more before rook takes a6 was surprising. But yeah, he just resigned after king h3. So that was a really good game until I played my big mistake, bishop takes g2, because I didn't see f4. So I should have seen f4. That's my only lesson. Other than that, I played okay. I played 93.9% accuracy, and you can see here I was better and then, yeah, it doesn't like g6, and then this move gives white an advantage. And then after he takes here, it's drawn, because, I mean, material's pretty equal. He can win these pawns, but I mean, I have connected pawns, his pawns are all disconnected. And my king's becoming active, and then he blundered mate, pretty much. So that was an interesting game. And I kind of wasn't sure if I was supposed to win it, but I mean, we take those. Okay, so that was game 1. And then game 2, I got the white pieces, so I'm pretty happy. And my opponent's name was Evan Cross, who was my youngest opponent of the day. He was about 13, I think, and he was rated 1111. So that's like 66 points lower than my previous opponent, and I have the white pieces now, so I was feeling pretty good. And he had a Sport Rock shirt on, so that's my boy. He rock climbs at the Duelist Sport Rock location, so that's sick. And we talked about that for a little bit. And then the game started, and I play what I play, e4, and he played the Pierz, which is my least favorite response to e4 ever. Ever. I'm never going to get to play the Mora in tournament. Anyways, so in the Pierz, this is the Pierz still, and he's going to play g6, fianchetto his bishop and castle, and he has like a super solid structure that I have a lot of trouble infiltrating. And so I don't like this knight f6 move either, because now I have to play knight c3, and I always like to just play c3 with the pawn and get like a strong pawn chain, bring my knight over here. And so to have to play knight c3 and block this pawn I'm already very unhappy, because it's just not the structure that I like. And then he played e5, which is really weird to me. And we transposed basically into what I like to play, except he's played d6. And so now I'm coming after that weak f-pawn. And now he either has to play d5, which is the best move. Instead, he played this weird move. So he's attacking my queen. And now I'm winning. I take with check. The king moves. And then I play f3, attacking his bishop. The bishop goes back, and I take it. Pretty good. And then the king can't castle, the king's unsafe, so... I didn't see any of that, I just attacked his bishop for no reason. And then now this was he saw this was his plan. Now his bishop defends. So I don't know, good for him. And he thought about that for a long time. I guess he didn't see, like, that check, or... I don't know. I played d3. I have this super cool light square pawn chain, and my bishop has the potential to get out. And I saw this. This is all fine for me. And then after he played a6, I'm really worried anytime I put my bishop on c4 that he'll play knight a5, and my bishop, it's going to get traded for his horrible knight. And this is like the best bishop ever. So you always have to kind of play a3 to give your bishop the escape square. And then he, instead of solving his development problems by getting his pieces out and castling, or improving his bad pieces, he just moves the same piece again. And so now I see that this piece is kind of his best piece. It's in the center, it's controlling all the space in my grill, so I'm just going to take it. And then I castled, and now I have an awesome rook on the f-file. He starts trying to open things up, which isn't good for his own king, but I just want to move my queen to get out of this pin so that I can play f4, hopefully take, and then have this big attack. Okay. And then here I want to trade dark square bishops to make my knight really good and open up the f-file. He just defends, so I guess takes is an option, but then this pawn is really weak, and so just pile things up. So it says that this move's okay. Black is winning now though after knight takes here, which I just didn't see. But it's okay, I have a queen d3. And then this move I thought was bad, because this bishop pins this pawn, So if he plays like any funny move, like here attacking my queen, I can take his bishop. So like, let's say hypothetically, I play a random move. He comes here. I felt like I can take this, and this move is illegal because then I take your king. And I mean, my opponent's rated 1100. I would not think that an 1100 would see that. Then again, I'm 983 and I saw it, so he moved over because he didn't like that. He didn't like that I could do that. So now this pawn isn't pinned. So yeah, we're the greatest. But unfortunately, when you move your king over, I can take your knight, and I get 2 pieces for a rook, which is really good. And so now I know I have a very solid advantage. And this pawn's weak. Obviously, my queen was attacked. And the reason I play queen d3 is because I don't want this pawn to ever move, allowing him to bring his bishop or his queen in onto the d4 square, giving check to my king and forcing king h1. So I didn't understand why he played this, but then obviously it's defending his weak f-pawn. It's just such a weird way to defend his f-pawn. I don't even know what the engine's talking about here. I don't even want to look at it. And then he doubled up on the bubble up, which is good. I attacked his bishop. I know I have an advantage, so trading pieces is good for me. And then he played this move, and I was very confused. This just doesn't make any sense to me. And so, obviously when you offer a trade like this, you got to calculate what happens after you trade. And so this is the position that anyone should have seen. He had like 20 minutes on his clock. He was playing extremely quickly, as you would expect a younger player too. And then I have check. And after here, which is the only legal move, I played here, and I'm attacking this, and I have 2 attackers on this. He has 2 defenders, but, I mean... Oh, sorry, I have 3 attackers. Woo! And so he defended it. So now he has 3 defenders on his weak f-pawn. And then I take a free pawn. And then here, he saw that our queens had tension. And so he's like, I'm going to play rook e1. And I think he knew he was dead loss. And then here I have the game-winning tactic, which I was very happy to find. And so bishop takes f7. So our queens have the tension. And essentially, what I saw was if the king goes anywhere, I have mate. And so, or king here, mate. So the king, it can't move. You have to take. The only way that you can take is with the rook. And now I pick up a queen. He decided to move the rook back, which I thought now you move like to the king, but he wanted to move here, here. And then I checked, check, here, and then he played a5, and I mated him. So that was a really fun game. And if we look at the report, somehow it gives me 98% accuracy with 2 mistakes. But that was just like a bad opening by my opponent. I don't think he ever should have played e5. e5 just looks really silly, and then bringing this bishop here looks really silly. Man, never play f3, huh? Mistake. And I just enjoyed like a really good advantage and attack on his king while his pieces were a lot worse. So this is kind of like he played bad, like how I played the last game bad, but he wasn't able to ever get his king save. And then there were like some, this was just a winning advantage for me. Let's see, what did it like instead of this king move? Oh yeah, so instead of moving the king over, it says just move your bishop back, and now your knight is defended a lot of times. And now black is slightly better. So him moving his king over to try and be like prophylactic in defending this bishop ended up being his downfall. Yeah, and then this was just the game losing trade because you weaken your king so much. So that was good. Okay, next game. So now I'm 2-0, which means I have to fight whoever's winning the tournament besides me. So I have 2 points, and the second best person in the tournament, I can't remember if they also had 2 points or if they had 1.5. I don't remember. And His name was Jordan Dover, and he was unrated, and he beat the best player in the tournament, the 1260. So if he's unrated and he's beaten at 1260, he must be greater than 1260. So I was very worried about this game. And then I go and I see that they gave me black. What? So I guess it's fair. I mean, I got black, white, black, but still, come on, give me white against the against the good player. And thankfully, this is an e4 game, and so I play what I play, and he plays the Scotch. And I have a line prepared for the Scotch, which is this, and usually people don't take. Usually they bring their bishop here, I bring my queen here, and then they play c3, and this is the line that I'm used to. So I'm used to playing queen f6. So after he takes, and he brings his knight out, I'm used to playing queen f6, and this is my goal. I want to checkmate him in one move. And so he addresses that threat, and now his bishop's blocked. It likes this move, but then I'll probably take it, and you'll have double pawns. I don't know. It's fine. And so, yeah, you have to play queen here to defend this checkmate. Otherwise, you're probably losing material or developing a really bad position. And so, I like that this bishop's blocked. So I bring my last my piece out that I need to castle. Oh yeah, and then here I just kind of want to open things up because I got this dangerous queen going, so I thought d5 was good. And now I don't have double pawns anymore, and I have to open b file potentially. So I'm feeling pretty good. I want to trade light square bishops, so we do. And then I played d4 with the intention of trading, and now I feel good. And it says I'm slightly better. So yeah, out of kind of a goofy Scotch opening, I have a very slight advantage because my bishop's really good. And then my opponent played a really weird move. Yeah, he played knight d1. So this pawn is attacked twice. Rah. And the way he decided to defend it was by bringing his knight here, because I guess he doesn't... I mean, this is also a threat. Like, if he plays random knight move, like, I don't even know where the knight would go. If he plays, like, here, I have this. And then, yeah, I'm going to take this rook. So he wanted to defend this and this at the same time, so he plays knight d1. But, I mean, I would never play knight d1. What's... This is pretty passive. What's going on here? And so, I'm threatening to take his rook. And so, now I'm threatening, like, back rank mate. So he stopped it. But now, I mean, the reason he played knight d1 was to defend this pawn. So I take this pawn. And after I played this, he said after the game, he said, "You made a really weird face after you took on b2." And I said, "Yeah, because I saw queen d7. Ooh." And now gotta move this rook somewhere. And my back rank is kind of the weak one. After this, I thought, like, I can take, and then he'll take, and then I move here. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'm okay. Let's see, what does it say about that? Oh, it says I'm dead lost. Yeah, because now my knight is super passive. It says bishop a3. Oh, goddamn. So yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't have taken in the game. But yeah, so now he's just down a pawn, I believe, yeah. But I mean, these pawns are pretty weak. They're disconnected. This move doesn't make any sense, because now I just pick up another pawn. Now I'm up 2 pawns. And then here, he said, like, he said, oh, I'm dead lost. And so, move my knight to the center to control more good squares. And then, yeah, unfortunately, I kind of weakened these pawns. So he gets a rook on the 7th. And then here I played the worst move of the whole tournament. Of all the games, this is my worst move. He plays queen a1, threatening this pawn. I thought he would play rook a7 and, like, we kind of had an equal position, which the engine agrees with me. I don't know why he would play queen a1. He wants to keep an eye on this knight? I don't know. And then this is my worst move. Ooh, rook a8. Defending my pawn. Ugh, what a blunder. What a blunder. And I think he had 30 seconds on his clock, I mean, you just take this. And then the game is over. Yeah, because... Well, it's not over. I'm still winning. I have this pawn. So, the game's not over, but... Man, I would feel really stupid. It would be such a psychological crushing blow. The game would be over. You can't take the queen because back rank mate. So... You gotta go here or here, and then he just takes it, and the game's over. So, yeah, rook a8, not good. And I had a lot more... I think I had over a minute left. So yeah, I mean, we're both kind of high stakes. And then... Okay, so I'm sick of this back rank nonsense. I just play h6, which I'm shocked to see the engine agrees with me, but... yeah, he attacks my queen. I move my queen back. I'm fine with being passive. I'm up material. And then now things get really sketchy. So now, this knight's here. Queen g7 mate if my knight moves. So like, let's say, ooh, look at this fork. I'm gonna attack these two things and win even more material. Yeah, that's not good. And I saw he has f4. So he can literally, like, my knight's pinned to this mate threat. So I'm feeling not good. So I'm like, I'll protect all my dark squares so that this is never an option. So now if my knight moves, I get this fork, and now he has no mate. Come on, let me play it. So yeah, that was my intention. And yeah, so now he attacks this twice. So I decided to stop it. And then I didn't see this check. And after I move here, I thought he has perpetual checkmate, and I really wanted to win. So I was like, I'm not going for a draw. And after the game, I said, would you have perpetual me? He said, that's all I was going for. And so he played queen here. He wants to do discovered check nonsense. Obviously, anywhere the knight goes is discovered check. And so I threw this in. If the queen moves, I can pick up his rook. And then I saw this move. Oh, yeah. So... Now there's no more discovered check if the knight moves. And he took it because it's free. If it's free, it's for me. And then I did this. And I blundered my knight. We both have... I think I have like 50 seconds, and he has literally 1 second on the clock, but he's making moves within 5 seconds, so the delay is protecting him. And then... We kept playing. I have 30 seconds, so I'm not writing the moves down. And, like, it's a rook pawn endgame, so I don't remember every move perfectly. But, essentially, what happened was we played this rook and pawn endgame where I'm clearly winning. And he got to, like, a move where his rook was over here and his king was coming in and my king was coming in. And I was, like, staring at the clock as it counted down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 when the delay's up. And he was, like, just looking at the board. And I thought he was waiting for the delay to be up before he made his move. Because he kept doing that. Like, he'd wait till 1 second and then bam. And then his, like, flag fell. Like, the timer ran out. And I said, you don't have to wait for the delay to be over to make a move. Like, you can make a move while your delay is counting. He goes, yeah, I know, I was thinking. And then, like, an arbiter came over and was like, is everything okay over here? And we were like, yeah. So he was just thinking, I guess. But, I mean, you gotta make moves faster. When you purposefully waited until you had 1 second on your clock, you gotta move faster. And so I won on time. And this game, it says I played 71. But I mean, I'm very ashamed of my rook a8 move when he could have taken out the queen. So, when did I play rook a8? Bam. So yeah, that's a silly blunder. But I mean, it says I'm still winning because I'm up all those pawns from when he... I mean, yeah, you can't play... What was up with this knight this game? Where did this knight come from? Okay, he played here. Knight here. Here. And then knight back. Like, this knight, you can't move that many times. Look at all my good pieces and look at your... What? So, just like a positional advantage that I converted through the endgame with a material advantage. And then, yeah, f6 was bad. At least I didn't get perpetual. So that was good. Taking a draw in this would have been really bad. Okay, last game. So my opponent had 2.5 points, and I had 3, because I'd won 3 games and he had 2 wins and a draw. And so when we saw the pairing, this guy was really cool. I said, "You want to take a draw?" And what was weird is that in between the third and fourth round, people started coming. Everyone was coming to me. "Are you Bobby Emmons?" And I was like, "Well, yes, I am." And they would say, "You're cleaning up tonight." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And so that was really cool. And people were like asking me my tournament history and stuff. And I explained, like, man, when your first tournament is like a big tournament like the Atlantic, people play serious there. And this is in the basement of a hotel on a Sunday night. So a little more chill. And so my opponent's name is Jared Desai. He is 1117. And I get white, which is weird to give the player who has a point advantage white, but that's what he said he expected to happen. You give whoever's winning the advantage. So I play what I always play, e4, e5. I've seen this position before. And I'm sure you guys have. This is my first ever tournament game, was this exact position. This exact position as well. This is called the Traxler. I always play this knight g5 move, and this move makes things very sharp. And then after the game, he said he has played hundreds of games in knight takes f7, and I played bishop takes f7. And here the theoretical move is king e7, and a blunder is king f8. And now white is really winning. After I come back, he plays h6, trying to kick my knight away. And instead I fork these two things. And now he said, when you played knight f7, I thought that it's kind of the same as if your bishop was here and you played this earlier. And he said he has hundreds of games in that position, and he always plays this move, giving up material, and now I'm up a piece. But I mean, he threatens mate, but I can defend. And now I'm threatening discovered check, and he has no threats. Yeah, black's got nothing, and I've got this discovered check. And so he's like, okay, no discovered check for you, but I mean, free rook. And now I'm threatening this fork. So this forks these two things. Come on. So he's just like, I'm gonna check you. And then, I mean, this is the only legal move, so this was easy to see. And then he traded queens. And if you can count the material, I have 2 rooks, he has 1. So I'm up a rook. And I have 4 minor pieces, he has 3. So I'm up a rook and a piece. Engine agrees, +8. And so he's dead lost. And so yeah, I like this is a fancy combination. He moves his king here, and instead of taking this bishop, and then we trade pieces, which is really good for me, I play rook e1, and now if I take it, it's discovered check. So that's like a very Morpheed up type move, which I was pretty proud of. And then here I'm like, ooh, I liked it when I played rook e1. Let's line up more discovered checks. And he's just angry. He's like, stop trying to discover check me. And he was very upset when we reached this position, because he said he had so many games in the Traxler, and yeah, he knew he was, like, obviously he's dead lost. He should have taken my draw offer. And then yeah, this move is a good try, but I just bring my bishop back. And then he said after this move, he thought I would play rook takes. Or maybe, yeah, I think he said he thought I would play rook takes, but he resigned here. So that was like a crazy game to finish it up. Let's see. So my first ever tournament game in the Traxler, my blunder was, did he play this move? Or I think he played like here, and then I castled. I gotta see this. Caleb Joby. Bishop f7, bishop e3. Yeah, wait. Oh no, I castled. So after bishop e3. Oh no, he played d5. Wait. Did he play king? He played king f8 as well? So yeah, this was the same line. And then instead of h6, he played d5, which is bad. I'm supposed to just take. But right. Okay. So yeah, this is a better try though, because obviously you're getting your light square bishop out, and then I castle, which is a blunder. Yeah. So I prefer how I played this time, and yeah, h6 was bad. So with that, I had 4 points, and the second best player had 2.5. So I won the tournament. And then everyone kept coming up, oh, how do you feel? And I just kept, this is the greatest moment of my life. And so that was good. And then I got $50. And then I went home. So let's see, when you got all the tournament fees, the USCF membership, and the toll road, I'm breaking even. But hopefully I can go back, and what's really good is we got to see how the USCF rating improves. Because, I mean, 4 wins plus my other 2 wins at the Atlantic is 6 out of 9. 6 out of 9, I should have a decent rating, come on. So the rating point improvement should be good, and then hopefully I can come back and get some more good games in. So this was a lot of fun and a lot of openings that I needed practice with for sure, and so definitely a great experience. So I hope you liked looking at these games, and I will keep you posted on the next ones that I play. All right, bye-bye.